Hi, my name is Fabiano Badaro, and this is your podcast to talk about luxury real estate in Portugal. Present you a special guest, Denice and John Beggs. They're going to share with us some benefits and challenges that they find out in buying real estate as American in Portugal. Denice and John, they have more than 50 years on the market there, and we're going to share some details here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, very nice to have you guys here, and I want to know a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, as you said, we've been in the business of real estate for 50 years since we've been married. John bought his first house at 20. And so that was our first experience in the real estate world of ownership. And from there, we bought, we sold, we bought, we sold. We moved up in the market, then started buying homes to flip. We've purchased properties to make apartments, and after utilizing our skills and learning and experience, then we started helping others buy real estate as well.
That's great. That's great. That's great. And the important thing is Denice and John, they have a lot of experience on the luxury real estate in the United States. And this is one of very good thing. And they decide to move to Portugal. And we're going to go over some questions about how did you guys feel it. And the first question is going to be, can you briefly share with us some experience in buying property in Portugal as an American? And what made you decide to invest in Portugal? And what was the reason? What did you see here?
Well, we felt Portugal was a very good value for our money. It was a good investment for us. It was a way for us to diversify. And it's a beautiful, beautiful country. So it's not just about the value and the money. It's also about the experience of the country.
Great lifestyle, right?
Lifestyle.
Yeah, the lifestyle here is completely. That's why I always say to people, the lifestyle here, it's a kind of magic.
It is. It really is. Beautiful.
I've been in different countries, in different places, but since when I came here, I said, oh my God, this is a place where I want to be for the rest of my life. This is good. And this is great. And another thing is, tell me a little bit more about the advantage and the benefits that you encounter as an American buyer investing on the real estate market here in Portugal.
Well, as I said, it's a really good value. We see it versus other places that we've looked at real estate. And we feel that there's room for growth here in value, in sales, in resales. So we feel it's safe. It's a safe investment for us as well.
Yeah, it's very good to hear from you because you guys not beginning on the business. Where's the specific challenges and obstacles that you face it during the procedure of purchasing and the process here in Portugal? So do you encounter anything that you have to advise our American clients or anyone in the world about what you encountered on that process of buying?
Well, I think it's really, really important to have surround yourself with advisors, good advisors, an agent like yourself that knows the market, can help you determine value. You knew what things were selling for and price per square foot and things like that we deal with, business side and determining value in the U.S. as well. What's different here is the process of looking at property, and it's a different culture. So you really need to have someone be able to navigate that culture with you, because in the there are differences. There's nothing negative. It's just different.
It's how you guys, as an American, deal with the culture here, because you come to a place that's totally, completely different than where you came from. The culture is different, the legal things are different, the real estate agents are different, the legal procedure are different. And so this is what's the most important thing, what the advice that you give to the other buyers about how to deal with this, and how they don't lose time on looking for something, because it's a kind of complicated when you deal with different cultures, especially when buying things. Did you have some situation that you want to share with us?
Well, we did research. We were good researchers, and we did a lot of research prior to coming here. I read about the culture, so I think that's really good to have an understanding of that to begin with. Here, there's not an MLS, multiple listing service, like in the United States. So you really do need someone to help you navigate. You can find things on the internet, but you need somebody who knows the area and can really zero in, and also be able to work with the other agents involved, the seller, however that's going to work, because it is different than in the U.S. Knowing how to navigate that, you just need somebody who has already done it, has the experience, and can help.
Did you find any financial consideration and that the American buyers need to be aware of here when you're dealing with the buying?
Well, it's very similar. You pay tax, a significant amount of tax up front, which it depends on the area of the United States on how that happens, but here it's a significant amount, and so you need to be ready for that. The culture hasn't in the past, to my knowledge, if I'm understanding it right, which you could confirm, is that people don't do inspections here. So we requested to have an inspection, and I think that's really important for American buyers to know that they can request, because maybe it won't be offered to you, or it won't be brought up, but you can do that, and I think it's really important because you don't know. Again, you're in the unknown in a new country.
Yeah, that's a very important point, because normally here they don't do the inspection. I've been in the real estate market in the U.S. also, and it's kind of different. Here everything is by as is.
Yes, yes.
So it's a fully by as is. The talking that we're doing here, just to clear to the public, what they need to do when to buy a real estate, because you need to understand the procedure, right? But it's very good when they follow someone like you, that you had the experience and you've been through the experience, and so you are the people that have a knowledge about how to deal with this situation. Considering in buying a real estate property here in Portugal, so do you have any more specific advice, what they need to do at first, when they're thinking about to invest here?
You have to narrow down where you want to buy first. It's not a big country, but there's differences from north to south and east to west. So we really looked into climate. That was a decisive point for us. Some people like it in the north. We wanted the south because we're used to where we came from having lots of sunshine. And the Algarve, we're told, has 300, is it, days of sunshine. And warmer climate. We just wanted, that was very important.
Now I think we have more than 300 days, because it's not raining at all this year.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't have any rain this year, and this is definitely the things that attract the Algarve. It's the 300 days of sunny days, but I don't think this year we got that. We need the rain sometimes, right? What was the main thing that attracted your eyes to Portugal? Because normally when you are in America, So I've been in America, I'm from Brazil originally, so we don't look to that side. And I did it the first time and I felt in love. But what's happening with you guys? How did you start to look on this side of?
Well, we had a very good friend purchase property with your help here first, and we came to visit their property. And while we were here, we just fell in love with Portugal. We had visited a couple times, but we didn't spend any real significant amount of time. And we took time and spent, we were a couple months here, and you took us from east to west, and we did our own discovery on our own. And the longer we were here, the more we were touring, the more we ate the good food, drank the wine.
Yeah, the food is good.
It's the experience, the feeling. The Portuguese people are very open and kind and caring. They're warm, accepting. So it also feels safe. We felt safe, and it started adding up to be all the components for a lovely lifestyle.
That's good. And the good thing, what I love to hear from you, it's because you came from Florida. Okay, so it's a big comparison with here, because if you come from New York, anything is good. Because you live in the snow, so if it gets any sunny, anything is better. But you came from Florida, so it's very important when you come from a paradise and you go into another paradise.
Yes, we did.
So you have that big comparison so that means that Algarve, it's something special here, because you change your paradise there to this paradise here. So this is good. That's why I like it to hear that you from Florida, because if I talk with someone from Canada or from New York or something like that, so you live in the snow and you come to the sunshine. So anything can be good,
We have a lot of friends here from California, which is also a nice, most of the climate in California is very nice too, especially Southern California is similar to here. And so they chose this area because they liked where they were, the climate they were in the United States, and then found this to be, very wonderful and made a switch.
That's great. And the good point is you talk about California. It's interesting because the most clients that we have here buying in Portugal or is from Florida or is from California. So it's nice because they changing like one good location for another good location, for a better one, probably a better one. And this is a good point, because it's not changing someone that comes from the cold weather or whatever. This is very important, because that brings a different concept. You come in here to Portugal because you want a different concept of life, probably, because you're not coming here just because of the sun, because you have sun a lot there, Sunshine State.
Yes.
You are from the Sunshine State. And the only difference in Florida, because we have a lot of rain, right?
We do have a lot of rain.
I used to go to the beach in Florida. It was sunny, and I set up the beach time, the towels and everything, and start to pour in water. I said, oh my God. Here, this just doesn't happen. If you go to the beach, it's sunny, it's sunny. Just share with us, okay, some tips that you have, some strategy, what they need to do, in the negotiation, and what, if you find out any cost of fees that was unexpected, so the American clients can understand a little bit more what you need to be prepared when you come here about costing and strategy of the pricing.
With pricing, what I found, and I think with discussing with you, is that the culture here is more non-negotiable than negotiable. Like in the United States, it's negotiation is back and forth, a lot of back and forth. Sometimes, not always, and usually
sellers are more open to coming off maybe their list price. Here, it seems that when they put a price on the property, they're not going to veer far from it. So that's why you need someone like you to help establish the value. And is this a good price? Is it, if they're not going to negotiate much, then are you doing okay?
Did you have any surprise or something that's different from American closing cost when you have here? So, or was kind of fair for you? Or did you find something, oh my God, this is kind of different than here, something that you didn't expect it? Did you have something like that?
We didn't really have anything too unexpected because we asked a lot of questions ahead of time.
Yeah.
So we were prepared. Like I said, you pay a bigger portion of tax up front, but then, taxes year after year after
The
that.
yearly taxes, yeah.
The annual taxes are very reasonable. So that was probably the biggest thing. We had attorney fees, but we knew we would. In the US, we don't use attorneys as much. The agents handle the transactions and it goes through the company, and the title companies do research on if the title's clear and those kind of things. So here, it's an attorney. You use an attorney. And of course, that comes with a price. So you have to be prepared for that. The rest of it is pretty much the same. Insurance, you have to get insurance.
But in many of people like to know about numbers. And what's the difference that you find out about the closing cost here in America? What you want to say about it? What's the difference on the pricing? How much was the closing cost here, and how much is normally the closing cost there?
So the closing cost in the part of Florida that we came from, and we sold real estate for many, many, many years. The closing cost for the buyers on a cash transaction was, very little. I mean, maybe a few $1,000s. But the closing cost on the seller is like 6 to 8%. So when we came here, we learned up front that the closing cost to the buyer, and we don't know the seller's side, but that's beside the point, but the closing cost to the buyer's side is that same 6 to 8%. So we paid a closing cost of, I think it was 6% that I calculated out, plus the attorney's fees and the inspections and all that. So, I'd say 8% easily.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because normally here, the buyers pay the closing cost. In America, some places, the seller helps to pay the closing cost, and that's what makes it. But the good thing is to tell them it's the early taxes. It's much lower here, I don't know.
yeah.
You feel
Yes.
the difference? Did you feel the difference?
Oh, yes.
It's a big difference, right? So normally on the property, like $1 million property in your area, how much normally is the taxes there?
About 13,000 a year.
13,000 years. And how much did you find out? Do you know how much it is here?
Just probably 1,000
Or
1,300,
less.
1,300.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like 800. And so that's give you the compensation on the yearly time. So normally
Yeah.
in the future, so gives you a balance on that, because the yearly taxes here, that's a good point also, because when to maintain the property here, it's much lower to maintain a property in America. Is there any advice information that they need to know, what you think it's essential, because you are more the mathematical guy?
Well, I think the most important thing to know and understand is to do your homework first, to do your research first, seek out a good broker like you to work with, and to seek out good counsel, in which we work with a good counsel. Actually, we work with one from New York to help us get here. Then we at one here in Lisbon, and that Lisbon attorney also, he helped us with everything with the closing, and helped us get an inspector, a certified inspector, structural engineer, and these are very important elements, we believe.
Good. That's great. That's great. And another thing is very interesting. People are curious, because when they come to Portugal, me as a Brazilian, when I came here the first time, I thought, it's just Portuguese speaking here. And I speak more English here than in America. And how do you guys feel about the language?
Actually, we're going to school. We're learning Portuguese. We go to class once a week. Portuguese is not the easiest language, I don't think, to learn or to understand, but we're trying. And people are very, they're accepted of us being here, and they help us to practice a little bit. And as you say, there is a lot of English spoken, but you do, I think it's, for me, out of respect to of my new country, to be able to learn to speak the language. And not every service person speaks English, and not every contractor speaks English. And so you might need an interpreter. We use Google Translate a lot. But the people that we worked with, such as yourself, you were bilingual. Our attorney was bilingual. So we had people who spoke both languages, which I think is important, because if you have one and not the other, communication can drop very easily here, and things can get lost in translation, like the movie.
But did you have any hard time with the language here? Was fair, or did you have?
No, I wouldn't say a hard time. We just a lot of sign language helped me.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
no,
No, but not with the transaction at all.
no, not with the transaction at all. No,
No, because like I said, we had bilingual advisors, and so they could communicate to us, and then they could communicate where they needed to on the Portuguese side as well.
Yeah, because normally I hear people, because they love to come to Portugal, because Portugal is the seventh country with English speaking in the world. And so when they go to Spain or to Italy or to France, stuff like that, it's much more complicated to deal with the English speaking. And that's what I hear from my clients. And I think it's true, because most of the time here you go anywhere, so people are able to speak English, even if they don't speak correctly, but they can deal with you with the language. And I hear about in other countries nearby here, it's kind of more difficult. And that's why, from you and the opinion that you came from America, and sometimes in your age, so we are retired already, so you don't want to deal with the learning in language. You don't want to deal with go to school. You don't want to do that hard time again. So you feel comfortable living here if you're not speaking Portuguese? This is a question to you. Yeah.
we have made many friends since we've been here, when we first visited, and then when we came back, and we moved here a year ago, that we've made many friends that, and a lot of them say, I tried it to learn Portuguese, but it's just too hard, and I'm retired and I don't want to, and I don't need to here. And we're like, okay, I understand that, but it's just we want to do the best we can.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, if you want, like for example, if you want, this is a point that's why sometimes people feel afraid when they move to another country, because they don't want to learn the language, and sometimes it takes a while to learn, of course, and it gives you a hard time. But as you're saying, you want to learn. But if you don't need to learn, you can live here perfectly, right?
Absolutely.
That's
There's a lot
Yeah.
there's a lot of
absolutely.
expat communities where everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
It's my understanding that in the schools, they teach English here as a second language. So most of the people that you meet that are 40 years old or maybe even younger, they speak pretty perfect English, really. So that's, it's pretty easy for the most part.
Good. That's great. That's what I want to let people know, because sometimes they feel bad to move to another country. But if they come here to visit the first time, they feel more comfortable, because they can go anywhere and they don't need to talk in Portuguese to communicate it. Because I moved to the United States the first time, and I didn't speak anything in English at all. Really? Completely zero. And I said, oh my God, how am I going to survive here? And that time we didn't have
Google
internet.
Translate.
we have to go with the dictionary on the pocket.
Yeah.
And I learned the English on the train reading, because it's impossible to live in the United States if you don't communicate in English, you know. But that's the good thing that I found here in Portugal for the foreign that comes to Portugal. Even if they don't speak the language, they can live easily, even if they speak Italian, because we have a lot of Italian community, we have a lot of French community. So they have their own expat groups that they can talk and do whatever they needed. And it's very, I think it's comfortable when you move to a place that you are retired and you don't want to do more homework for the language. And so it's anything more that you need to compliment to our audience about moving to?
I think the one thing when in hearing you talk and making me think about it more is for the first several months, even before we actually moved, and you were showing us property in 2021, we were calling you up all the time and saying, could you listen to this message and tell us what they're saying? So, or, you know, can you help me with getting us somebody over here to take care of something? So I think people need to have, Americans, they don't speak the language, they need to have somebody that's bilingual that can speak the language. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, in certain situations, yeah, when it comes to legalities,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah, it's-
absolutely.
So.
And there's also programs that you can translate on the internet easily too. You just put your document up there and it changes it from Portuguese to English.
Today
So-
is much easier.
It makes it much easier.
Much easier. A long time ago it was kind of impossible to do this, you know, but now it's good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so it's very nice to have you guys here. Okay, and it was a pleasure. If you guys want to say something else about... one question that I have here. Why you choose Portimao? This is the key question.
We went from east to west, like I said, and
In the Algarve.
in the Algarve, searching.
Yeah.
And we went to villages. We went to mainly villages because there's not a lot of big cities. I guess there's Faro and Vilamora and Albufeira and that sort of thing. But we did look at all of those places, so we didn't just drop ourselves here without consideration. We chose this because there is still that Portuguese influence. We like that. So also, I get a little emotional. We wanted to be able to walk
Oh, that's
the city.
nice. That's
We
nice.
wanted public transportation. We wanted healthcare facility that was accessible, easily accessible. We wanted to be able to walk to restaurants and markets, things like that. But it's a big mix of people here. It's not just, we didn't go somewhere where there's just Americans for a reason.
Great, great. That's very nice to hear, especially from you guys that has lots of experience in life and even the real estate. You know, you've been in real estate for more than 50 years. And thank you very much. I'm so glad to be part of that part of your life. I think it's like, sometimes we have important time in our life, it's from the beginning, right? When you do a first home buyers like this, it's a very important point. You guys deal a lot with that. But it's also very important when me as a broker deal with you as a different type of time of your life, and you're changing your life perspective. And so it's like I'm helping you guys, you know, find your new life.
Exactly.
You did. You really did. And we're grateful for that, grateful to you. Also, we've become friends, which is really fun. And since we were in the business and you're in the business, we continue to share that sort of discussion, which is interesting and fun. And sometimes I send you things that I see that I think is good for you and your
Yeah,
business.
I like
and
those chips.
So and if I get stuck or we get stuck and we have questions, we know that we can call you and ask you. I mean, if I needed you to talk to a repairman for me, you would.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Yes.
you have.
Definitely. I'm here for anything you needed, not just the real estate. I'm so glad that you guys are so happy here. And I'm also so glad that be part of this. This is very important for me as a broker and as a friend now. And thank you guys to sharing those things for the audience because everybody likes to know a little bit more about Portugal, especially now. Portugal, it's a kind of, on the middle of the world. And a lot of Americans are looking to here now. They didn't look before. It's very important to talk with you guys about it. And thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be always with you guys. I'm going to be here always, anytime to serve you because I say the real estate, I like to become a friend with the clients, not just a transaction time and that's it. No, this is very important. And so this is, I want to thank you guys for being here with us and hope we're going to show in more things about Portugal in the podcast. We're showing more details and we're going to keep showing more things about Portugal, not even just the real estate business, but everything surrounding the real estate market in Portugal, especially in Algarve. So stay with us. Thank you very much. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends and family that are interested in investing in Portugal.